and welcome to the Easily Excitable podcast. I am Topperman. With me this week is KillerKel. Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, Top. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. It's been a long time since you've been on, and to be honest, I've missed chatting to you.
Somehow I got that impression. But I have to be honest with you as well. I missed our little chats too. Ever since
Nice.
Topham chats, yeah, I miss them. I miss
know,
being
right?
easily excitable, and I also missed Topham chats. So I'm here. I'm back, and I'm ready to talk.
Wicked. So the last time we actually spoke was actually face to face.
Yes.
So we had a meet up with the GGG in London because you were in the UK for a long time, as well as other places. Were you in other places around Europe, or were you just in the UK?
I was in other places as well, but when you saw
so.
me, I had only been in the UK.
Yeah, I thought so, because I thought you were going to be back like earlier than you were, which made me think, oh yeah. But I don't know. Like, that's just my impressions of things. Where else did you go in the UK? And let's start with the UK, then we'll go Europe.
Okay,
So yeah,
UK.
how's that?
So I started in Glasgow.
How was Glasgow?
Being my first impression of the UK, like seeing it was definitely interesting. It's not as bad as everyone says it is.
Glasgow is like my favorite city in the UK. So
awesome then, great, because everyone that I talk to shit on Glasgow.
How dare they?
And I think it was because they compare it to Edinburgh. Personally, I did like Edinburgh. I did see Edinburgh later in my trip. But I only saw it for about 8 hours, like not even kidding. Like I flew in, then trained out after like a day of work. Like that's how it worked. But I enjoyed Glasgow. I would definitely spend more time there, as well as Edinburgh, because they're both really good. So I started in Glasgow, then flew to Manchester. I was in Media City, so I didn't really see a lot of Manchester, but of what I did see, it was pretty solid. I enjoyed Manchester. Good people there. Then I was in Birmingham. Birmingham was all right.
Birmingham's questionable at times. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. The city centre's okay, but yeah, just like a lot of the areas around with it don't seem to feel okay.
Yeah, the only thing that they really have is canals, and that's what they'll just constantly talk about, is how they have all of these canals and like more than these other famous canals that exist. Whatever. Anyway, Birmingham. Then from Birmingham I went to London, and I spent about like a month and a half or 2 months. I think a month and a half in London specifically. Then I was in Bracknell, or also known as Thames Valley. It's like right below London. It's not very far. I think it's technically a part of London as a whole,
as part of Greater London.
Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, whatever.
That one. And then I was back in London for a bit, and then when that was all finished up, went to first Stockholm, and then Brussels.
Ooh.
I know.
They're places I want to visit, and I know I haven't visited yet, and I'm just like, oh, I really want to go to there.
It was really, really great. I loved Stockholm. While I was there, I got to see another GGG member, which was really, really great.
Cool. Was that Aless?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, got to see him. That was really, really cool.
Nice.
Of course, while I was in the UK, I got to see all of my UK friends, which is awesome. So Stockholm, Brussels. Brussels a little bit rough, but has a very good charm to it. When you see places, and then also got to go to Utrecht, which is in Holland, or in the Netherlands, depending on who you're talking to. And then I briefly saw Amsterdam because I trained from Utrecht to Amsterdam to fly out. But I would definitely love to spend more time there, just like see it. I went to that famous square. I forget what it's called, but yeah. And then I went home for 2 weeks, and then I went to Paris.
Oh my God.
I know, man, I know. At this point, I'd been traveling. If you add all the time together, I'd been traveling for, I'm going to say, about 2 months and 3 weeks. By the time I was finished, it was 3 months and a week. So I was in Paris for a week. Yeah. Then I was supposed to come home, Top. I was supposed to come home. By the way, Paris was really great. I would like it more if I understood people. But seeing as how there's that language barrier, you can only like it so much. But it was really good because they had like this winter festival going on, and it was really, really great to see everything. And I really did enjoy my time there. So I got to see Paris. Was there for a week, and then unexpectedly I was sent back on another UK tour for another week, which is why I was back later than I anticipated.
Right.
And so that's when I saw Edinburgh, and I went back to Edinburgh. Was great. Loved spending my 8 hours there. Then I went back to Birmingham because I had to do some work there. Then I went back to Bracknell or Thames Valley. Then I went back to London. So I went from Edinburgh to Birmingham to Bracknell in 3 days. So literally each place was a day. So I went somewhere, slept, worked the next day, trained to the next place, and did that for 3 days. It was a lot. But loved it. I love the UK. I really, really do. I really do enjoy London. I think it's partially because of the tube myself. Which I know a lot of people hate, but when I compare it to the public transportation systems that I've used in the DC metro area, it's a lot better. It's so much more convenient. So I love it. London was pretty cool. I don't think I would live there, but it was really great to visit. That was me, man. I've been doing a lot. So
nice. Yeah, the UK. How did you find the UK? Just like in general, is it like as a difference to the United States? Like we all speak the same language, but at the same time, there's like a lot of differences.
Yeah, well, luckily, because of the power of the internet, because of the power of the internet and just the people that I've met, you, my GGG friends, just other people in general, I was very prepared for like a lot of the differences. But they are definitely noticeable, and you see them more tangibly when you're actually there. And I heard similar things when we had our last GGG meetup before London, when people came to my house, and then we went to North Carolina for a bit. I heard those differences from them, but I didn't get to see them until I went. So things like the size of like flats that you guys have compared to apartments or houses here is massively different. Like I saw some people's flats and some people's houses, and I continue to see them as well. And it just I'm just surprised by how little space there is. It's shocking to me. I mean, I understand it. I understand how it's livable, especially when you have like 3 or 4 floors. But it's crazy. I would say there's definitely a space difference in terms of space between everything that's in the U.S. versus space between everything in the UK or just Europe in general. And I've heard about it, but you really don't understand the size difference of just countries or the overall world until you actually see everything and see how fast you can get in between Manchester and London, for example. It's like a 4-hour train ride and you're there, as opposed to if I took a 4-hour train, I would maybe be like halfway in between where I am in Florida. So I think maybe I've never really taken a train, but still, well, never from there to Florida. But yeah, it's like in the U.S. I would fly that distance because it would just be so much faster.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's a lot of big differences, and of course then there's like the culture and stuff too. There's like cultural differences. There's like speech patterns and everything. But get used to it.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, one of the things is like I live near Birmingham. Actually, I live like in the middle of Birmingham and London, so like I know that there's lots of towns in between and everything, and about the distance from where I am to Birmingham or London, like a little bit further than that is how far Rachel has to go to get to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And in between, I know there's like hundreds of villages and there's a few towns with like proper town centers and everything. And it's just crazy I can go like that. But like when you go from Atlanta to where Rachel lives, there's not really too much going on. It's kind of like, oh, there's all this space in the States. There is a lot of space, and it's like I'm always like caught out by the fact that there's just nothing going on in this area, and that's kind of shocking. But there was a point I was going to make, and I can't remember what it was.
I'm sorry, I talked so much.
No, it's fine. It's fine. There's just some big differences like that. And like what I've noticed is that you guys are like, we have our downtown area where there's lots of things going on and all this. Whereas what I haven't really experienced or noticed is like in the UK we have town centres and city centres where there's lots of things. It's easier to get around. Whereas when I've been over in the States, if you need to get anywhere, it's like, oh yeah, we can drive to that place. It's not particularly close, and everything seems to be like really spread out, and like I'm just gonna say, not convenient. But yeah, that's one of the things I've noticed.
Yeah, and I think that goes with the whole public transportation thing. Like the culture is we have a car culture. And other that's one of the that's one of the bigger differences I noticed in Greater Europe. I mean, I caught it when I was in London. That sort of like bike culture. There was a lot of people biking.
Yes.
By the way, I would, even if I like was adjusted to driving on like left side of the road and everything, I would never bike in London just because it looks so dangerous. And tons of people do it, and I'm like, oh my god, how are you doing this? And even just driving in London felt like, even if I were to do it, like even if I was comfortable with the left side of the road, I was all good with it. I was just like, man, I would not be messing with London at all.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I noticed when I especially got to Brussels and Utrecht, the number of people on bikes are like their cars. Like they had like highways for bikes. Yep. They have like specific like parking garages for bikes. It was crazy, and it was amazing. It was great to see. I loved it, but it was ridiculous how many just bikes there were. It's completely different from what we do, and it was really, really interesting to see. But yeah, that just goes with it, right? Like we have a car culture just because there's so much that we have to get past, and if you have to go somewhere, you can't just take a train there necessarily unless it's another city, and even then you have to take a train, then get on whatever subway system if they have one. It's so much easier to just drive to get to where you need to go usually. But it's a big difference. And I do get what you say. Like downtown tends to have like a lot of like the more fun things that you want to do. It depends on what city you go to, but there's no real like city center. I guess for some towns you'll have like what they call a town center, and they'll have like a shopping center there or whatever it is. But if you're looking for like a quality restaurant, that might be in a different place than from say I don't know, like a really fun like place to go dancing, or I don't know, like a bar or whatever you'd be looking for. Any sort of activities, and definitely far away from like housing unless you live right there, which would be more expensive. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Because, like, I don't know whether you saw it much in London, but in the town I live in Northampton, you've got this, like, big promenade of shops up a few streets, and all on the base layer, it's all shops. Any floors higher up, they're actually where people live. And it's just like, oh, yeah, people live in these places that, like, I guess Americans wouldn't consider, oh, that's where someone would live. Like, unless, I don't know, because like I said, because there's so much space, it's just like everything's different. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, when I was over in Maastricht, because I was over in the Netherlands earlier in the year, there were paths just for bikes, and it was there was a bridge over a river and a train depot, and there was a separate bridge next to it for two-way bicycle traffic as well. And I was just like, it's crazy, like how much infrastructure they have just for bikes as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's crazy. It's awesome. So yeah, that's a crazy thing. So yeah, America is very different to the UK, despite what might appear to the rest of the world as very similar things, like language, among other things. So, how's your year been in general? Like, how has 2016 been for you? Because did you graduate this year?
Oh man, did I graduate this year? I think technically, yeah. I did.
Yeah, I thought you did.
Yeah, that's weird. Oh man, it feels like so long ago. Yeah, I did. I did graduate this year. The semester before this one, I graduated. Yeah. Like right before the summer is when I graduated.
Yeah, I thought that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say overall, I mean, for what I've been hearing, like online with other people, but I think this is just a thing that happens anyway. But a lot of people have been saying, "Oh, 2016's been awful," like blah 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 blah, with like just like general the world things.
Yes, general the world things have been not the best. I'll say that.
But I'd say, I guess personally, my year's been good. I'm still with the GGG and love them. You know, it's the whole reason I know you. Emma and I are doing well. Got to see her this whole past week, which was great. Loved spending time with her and her family. Nice. I got to travel with this new job that I'm working, and I have this new job as well, which is a major thing for me. Yeah. The travel was incredible. Got to see people that I never even thought that I would get to see, which was amazing. Awesome. And then, of course, apparently I graduated, which happened. I forgot about. Yeah, I graduated too. Yeah, it's been a lot has happened. So
nice. Yeah, I've had a bit of a strange year. Like, it's been, I don't know. I guess it's been fine. There's been lots that's gone on. So like, obviously this is like, I think episode 29 of this podcast. I revamped the podcast about just over half a year ago. And so, yeah, I was like, oh, this needs to change. But because I'd kind of, not necessarily got stale, but I'd abandoned the original concept on the podcast. So I was like, okay, things need to change. So at the same time, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a website, rebrand that, release an album. So I decided in the course of like 3 weeks, I was going to finish a podcast and start a new one, release an album of which songs I'd had written for ages, and like put it all on a new website I was going to do. All the while carrying on with writing my journal blog thing that I'd been writing for, at that point, 2.5 years. So I was like, okay, I've got all this stuff to do. And I don't know, for me, it felt like it was a year where I made changes that I wanted to see. So I felt like, oh, I've made progress there. Things have been going well with Rachel. Like, I'm going to visit her, and that's going to be good. And it's Christmas time and everything. And yeah, and then at work, I've picked up taking part. I don't know. I've taken up studying again, so I can get a qualification in quality management, and that's been absorbing my life a little bit, and it's a bit stressful. But at the same time, it's been worth it, and I'm certainly learning stuff. I'm glad I'm learning stuff again because I like learning stuff, which is why I have silly qualifications that don't make any sense. Like, I have a fitness instructor's qualification. I don't use it, but I could. And yeah, now I'm learning stuff about quality management, which is actually directly helping my my career, which is good, and that can help me make progress in the future. Yeah, it's been, I don't know, 2016 has been a good year in many ways, because I've progressed in my job. Technically, I've shown that I can evolve and get better, and in my personal life with like my podcast, my website, I'm just like, okay, these are things I can do. How can I make them better? I know a few weeks ago, it might have been about 2 months, maybe 3 months at this point. I was like, okay, I'm going to plan my journals, plan what I'm going to write each day. I'm going to have all these topic lists, and then I can go through them. And I've kind of abandoned it, but it was more as I was like, oh, I'm writing things that are prescribed for my course, so I'm doing an assignment for this, I'm going to work on that, which led me to be like, okay, when I'm doing my other writing, I don't really want to write towards a heading, I just want to like do some stream of consciousness writing stuff, and just, put that out, and just get that out of my head, so I can be there and be like, okay, I've got my thoughts out of my head, which is originally what I was doing it for anyway, because if I don't write, then I can't sleep. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter what time in the day I write, as long as I get my thoughts out of my head at some point during the day, like, the noise in my brain just dissipates, and then I can just, like, chill out, and there's less things floating around my head. It's certainly helped, like, significantly, because I used to lay in bed for, like, an hour and a half, 2 hours before I'd get to sleep, whereas now I'm just like, I can go to bed and I'll be asleep within 20 minutes or so, which is a marked improvement. But yeah, there's lots of things that have gone on, and this year's been kind of crazy. Okay, so I've cut it at this point because it seemed like a good place to cut it. Kelly was my guest. Hey, Kelly. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah, you can find me at Destroy Topham or at Etherfart on the internet. Kelly, where can we find you?
Oh man, all kinds of places, Top. All kinds of places. So,
okay.
we do have our Good Guy Gamers Twitter, which, by the way, Top just knows it so much better than me. Top, what would you describe our Twitter handle to be?
It's at good_guy_gamers on Twitter.
Attaboy, Top. And then we're also on Facebook. We're on the Rooster Teeth website. And then, of course, if you just want to find the Good Guy Gamer Steam group, you can find myself, KillerKel, or BeatBep on there. Just message one of us. We'll get you going. But yeah, those are the places I'm at. Also, I know Emma on Twitter or Beep is Lord of Decaf, I want to say. So you can always tag her there or something. We can get a conversation going. But yeah, Good Guy Gamers, check us out. Awesome. Also, Top's albums are great too. Check those out as well. Ithfar is, I would have to say, an amazing artist. So yeah.
Yay. Cool. That album can be found on Bandcamp and on SoundCloud. They're both free, so go for it. It's free everywhere. So yeah, feel free to enjoy it. And
awesome music.
Yay, thank you very much. And thank you everyone for listening. Have an exciting week. You're all my favorites. Goodbye.
Bye.